What's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna try to get this done in as few takes as possible. Keep my editing down. I want to talk about this article I just seen on the Shade Room on Instagram. The article says, studies show that dating opportunities for men are decreasing as more healthy relationship standards arise. Okay. This is the text from that. It says, men are reportedly at their loneliest romantically as potential partners are not settling for the same dating standards from the 1990s. I actually think it would be the early 2000s because that's when it got worse. The 90s wasn't that bad. Even so, apparently men today outnumber women on dating sites and have become the largest growing group of long-term single people in the last 30 years, according to psychologist-backed research shared in Psych Today. One study shared by the outlet from 2019 suggests that men ages 25 to 54 are the fastest growing group of long-term single people since 1990, and it will only worsen in the future while they represent approximately 62% of dating app users, outnumbering women. Another study conducted in 2021 with over 40,000 people showed that men reported more loneliness than women. Board-certified couple and family psychologist Greg Matos said that the research shows that it will be more challenging for men to find their matches over time. There are several factors Matos suggested that men need to address to change their fate. And then there's a link in the bio, so if you want to go check that article out, I found it on the Shade Room. You can go to theshaderoom.com or whatever their real website is and check out the rest of the article. But I just want to make this point. Oftentimes, way too often, I'm talking on the phone with a client or I'm having a conversation in the comment section. Everybody's telling me about how women outnumber men. Everybody's talking about how there are no good men out here, that options are scarce, that there are so many women, there's so much competition, that the reason that they've lowered their standards is because they're a majority and the men are the minority. This research shows that that is, like I've been telling people forever, hogwash. It's bullshit, okay? There's no disparity between men and women so significant that women need to be taking shit and screwing for food on dates. Like, you can raise your standards now. You're not the majority. You're the minority, especially in new age dating cycles and new age dating culture of being predominantly online. Women are becoming the minority, and a deep minority, right? Men outnumber you at the moment 62-38. That's at the moment, right? And it's only getting worse in time as more women turn away from dating long-term, lose hope, and just change their standards in the way they handle men and start to handle men like utility, like a lot of men have been handling women for a long time. If 62% of dating app users are men, then a lot of you can calm down. A lot of you can realize that maybe you can stick to the standards of the things that you actually want in a relationship instead of just replying to whomever might give you attention who looks like they're in the top 1% or 10%. If women understood the power they have and the lengths that men will go to impress a woman, to be in the company of a woman, and to get sexual access to a woman, they would be setting higher standards for men. But instead, for the last 20 years, women have been operating in a scarcity mindset, allowing men who are unfit to lead themselves, let alone a home or a community, to create new standards for them, to adopt white supremacy ideology and try to enforce it in impoverished and middle-class areas in which the lifestyles or the family dynamics they try to establish don't even match the tax bracket or the income level that they're at. Men who don't provide or protect want a woman who cooks and cleans and nurtures after she gets home from work. They've been able to create these standards because the scarcity mindset has prevailed in a lot of women's minds, making them think that they have to do all of these things on top of being a great partner to keep a man. When in actuality, both people need to be working that hard to keep each other sustained and satiated in their relationships. The pervasive message that men have all the leverage because they're the minority and there's so many more women than it is a man that they can just pick who they want and treat them how they want, and they're high value and a woman is a dime a dozen, and all of these different ideas have been shared for so long and women have accepted them. But it's bullshit. It's hogwash. It's not true. Just in case you missed it, it says 62% of dating app users are men, which means that it's becoming a sausage party. So guess what? You can set your standards. Figure out whatever standards you want in your relationship, in your dating life, and apply it, because we're going into a place where men are going to have to do what women ask to be considered. As long as those women stop worshiping the one or two guys out of every 10 guys who might have options. Options worship is the problem here. Options worship is what's been causing the downfall of a lot of dating respect and a lot of dating standards being established in a mutually beneficial way, right? We have this options worship. Whoever has options, we worship this person and we act like they're, one in a million, when they're really just a person who doesn't even want what we want, but they have those options and they exercise those options because they don't want relationships. So it's easy for them to discard people and to use them and make utility out of these relationships without actually investing in them. But the options that they have to pick from are becoming more and more scarce as women get tired of the bullshit. So please go read this article, figure out what kind of standards you can set in your whole online dating life. Maybe start dating in person again, but it's not time to quit dating, right? A lot of you just given up and walked home, but you haven't actually tried to date in a more smart way. You haven't applied wisdom. You haven't applied new understanding. You've just grown tired and quit. Or you've grown tired and started taking shit because you assume it's coming. Men are the majority of dating app users, and it's only going up. Dating apps are the way that most people meet and entertain new romantic prospects. So if men don't have any leverage there, they're quickly losing leverage in person because there's a pandemic every other week. That means women decide what's going on. Women are creating the standards despite every podcast that some son of a bitch in his closet with a neon light and a microphone is saying. Stop listening to social media tell y'all that y'all don't have options. Stop listening to social media tell y'all that y'all are so much of a minority that you have to just take shit and accept anything that's given and offered to you from a man because he has balls and a job. Think about how you need to be treated. Think about what your intrinsic needs are. Think about what your spiritual needs are and your intellectual needs are and your emotional needs are. Do whatever growth hacking you need to do to make sure that you can apply yourself to a healthy relationship in a healthy way. But men are the majority. You are the ones who have the choice, and that choice is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Even so, go check out that article, and if you've been lacking hope or feeling like there's no chance of you finding a man out here and no man knows how it feels to be lonely because men don't want relationships, that actually is not true. Men feel loneliness and they're trying to do something about it, and they're filling up dating websites, but they don't know what to do, and then they're following podcast people who tell them what a man's job is who's never experienced partnership or long-term relationships in a successful, healthy way, so they don't know what to do. Women start making the standards for these men so that we can get back on track as a whole. Anyway, I just thought this was an interesting article. Go check it out on the Shade Room, and I don't know what their source is, but follow me at kevhick24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.